How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. TraderPrad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, lads, how's everyone doing? Welcome back. We are here. I am back alive. Finally, we are live again. I know it's been a long time. I almost forgot what it felt like to be a streamer for a while. No, good Thanksgiving weekend, good holiday, good little break away from the market, and now time to boogie again, baby. Time to boogie again. No holidays until Christmas. No days off until Christmas, but lots of events planned until Christmas. So, you know, Christmas parties here, Christmas parties there, lots of events, but that doesn't mean the market's taking a break. No, market's still going to be hot, still going to move around, and there's opportunities every single day. Today, we actually had a lot of names reporting earnings after hours. CRM, OKTA, MRVL, bunch of names to start off with. We got more names reporting tomorrow pre-market. So we'll go through the list of stocks that I've prepared for us. Well, I should say prepared for myself. It's my watch list. It's my stream. It's my show. So we're going to go through my watch list for tomorrow, what stocks I'm going to be focusing on, and see if there's any opportunities, any plays for me to take advantage in. And you guys are more than welcome to throw stocks at me, tell me what you want me to take a look at, and if there's an opportunity on there, I'll more than happily add that to my watch list. So let's dive into today's action. Today, if I remember correctly, market opened to the red side, tried to go green, it stayed green a little while, and then turned back red. I'm talking about the QQQ, and then turned back green. S&P 500, if I remember, it stayed red for the most part, but I can't remember if it turned green going into the end of the day. I can't remember. As for myself, I got chopped up by Palantir. Palantir ran up to $70. I thought Palantir 70 would be an awesome short opportunity. It looked like it would have been an awesome short opportunity, but Palantir just chopped back and forth and chopped me up quite a bit. But thankfully, my day wasn't as bad as it could have been. Right, started off my day pretty bad, but managed to claw myself back to pretty much flat, almost flat, not really break even, but cloud myself to almost break even today. And you know, I'm happy that I was not too emotional, too sad. The old Prad would have been too emotional, too sad, and just kind of stopped trading and accepted my defeat because Palantir was not the cleanest trade today. But the new Prad, I just said, you know, screw it, put the head down, look for the next good trade, the next best trade, and hammer that next best trade. And then a series of that happening eventually got me back to a less damage of a day than I started off with. So thankfully, I only gave back about 30% of what I made yesterday. And I'm really excited still to see what opportunities open up on the market with the moves like Palantir, with moves that that you're seeing across the board, not just on Palantir. You had a couple other stocks moving around today too. So with the opportunities and the trades that we're getting, especially from the earnings names today after hours, I think the three names that reported after hours, all of them jumped up by more than 10% or so, and all of them went into all-time highs. So these are amazing opportunities setting up. Let's go dive in on the full screen and get ready for them. So starting off with, we're gonna go to CRM, Salesforce, $350 name, reporting earnings and walking up to 365, I think is what I remember seeing the stock in after hours, and pretty much still around 365. It made a high of 368 today, a little bit of a extra dollar pop past the previous high that I remember seeing on the day. 367 was the high I remember seeing on the day, but we did see 368 just before the market closed. 10 minutes before the stock closed in the after hours, which actually no more after hour markets, I guess, because apparently we're going closer and closer to 24-hour markets. So we'll see how that plays out. But CRM, Salesforce, making a beautiful move today, more than 10% to the upside, and other stocks in the basket that reported kind of doing a similar move. OKTA going into, I don't know if OKTA is at all-time high, OKTA not at all-time high, but pretty decent move on OKTA. But MRVL, this one did pop into, hello? There we go. MRVL popped into an all-time high, actually broke out of the previous all-time high yesterday, held the previous all-time high yesterday and today, and then today with the earnings report, you get the breakout above 100 and a much higher move thanks to the ER. You got to move up to $108 over here on MRVL. If you ask me, with the way how the chart is already looking, I think you know, the stock is opening up much higher than 107.50 tomorrow without a doubt. It'll be interesting to see how high the stock opens up tomorrow. For now, I'm just going to quickly put in the anchored VWAP 4 earnings for all three of these names. So let me just quickly throw those down, and then we're going to pull up Benzinga. If you're interested in checking out Benzinga, please use the link in the description below. It is my Linktree page. What? What happened to my Linktree? What the? Link? Did my account automatically delete itself or something? What in the hell? Okay, I see my page still there. Can I view site somehow? Okay, there you go. Huh. Weird. Alright, I'll post the link in the chat. That was weird. It said it was deleted for a second and now it's back. Over here, you'll find all my affiliate sponsors: Benzinga, TraderSync, Trade Ideas, Flash Research. Please go check them out. These are the softwares that I use every single day to trade. So if you're interested in the very same products that I use, they're all listed in the description. Heading over to Benzinga real quick to read the reports for CRM and other names. CRM reported revenue of 9.44 billion, beating estimates of 9.35. reported 2.41 per share, missing estimates of 2.44. Total revenue up 8% year over year. Operating margin came in at 20%. Non-operating GAAP margins came in at 33.1%. Cash flow up 29% year over year, and free cash flow up 30% year over year. The company ended the quarter with remaining performance obligations up 10% year over year. Even though revenue only increased by 8%, all other metrics look so good. It looked good so far. We delivered another quarter of exceptional financial performance across revenue, margin, cash flows, and customer recurring payment obligations. I don't know. I'm just guessing what the hell the CRPO means. Where is the next few important data? Obviously, he's talking about his AI over here, autonomous AI agents. Salesforce said it's repurchased $1.2 billion worth of stock and returned $400 million to shareholders. Guidance. This is the important part. Expects fourth quarter revenue to be in the range of 9.9 to 10 billion. They just reported 9.5, 9.4 to 9.5, and they're expecting 9.9 to 10 billion for the next quarter. The company also anticipates fourth quarter EPS to come in at 2.5 to 2.62. Salesforce sees full year 2025 revenue at 37.8 billion. Haha, guess what? Nvidia makes that in a quarter. Salesforce expects 2025 revenue and 37.8. What's wrong with me today? I can't read. Maybe I should make the font a little bit bigger for myself, huh? Expects 37.8 billion revenue to 38 billion revenue. The company expects full year adjusted earnings to be between 9.98 to 10.3 dollars per share. I mean, look, they print money, okay? They print money. Agent Force, we're not just witnessing the future. I guess that's their product. We're leading it, unleashing a new era of digital labor for every business and every industry, says Mark Benioff, who obviously got back to the company. It's in his power again. It's mine, he goes. But Salesforce, beautiful move. If you ask me, 8% revenue growth is meh. But the fact that, look, it's a company that makes $10 per year in EPS. That's not a small company, right? CRM, big company, PE of only 57 for a stock. I'm saying only because, you know, we could bring up examples where stocks are 29,000 PE, okay? And people think that the stock can go much higher. So I'm comparing it to a bunch of other companies over there that are absolutely wild. So if you compare it to that, you know, this company actually makes money, and they're guiding. I can't say if they're guiding higher or lower because we don't know the comparisons. We have nothing to compare it to, but their guidance is looking good. Their current report is looking good. They didn't really talk about a share repurchase program. They talked about how much they already repurchased and how much they gave back to the shareholders. They talked about their AI product a little bit. Besides that, I think what the market purely saw was, growth across all major fundamental numbers that people want to see on. And seeing the guidance also coming in on the good note, taking Salesforce to the high end of $360. So new price discovery ranges. Your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine regarding how high can Salesforce go or what it does tomorrow. But based on this move over here, I think one thing is almost guaranteed, that if the stock dips off the open tomorrow, I'm only looking long. I'm only looking long in this whole area, waiting to see where the buyers step in. So I'm waiting for a prior 2-minute bar high to break to get long. I'm waiting to see if the earnings anchored VWAP potentially coming in around here at 352 because of this consolidation, potentially getting a bounce off of 352, potentially getting a bounce off of 355, 356. So wherever that bounce is, if the stock trades in this area in the pre-market and then off the open it sells off to give you a dip buy, I'm only looking for a long until the stock gets below 350, until it gets below 349, which is the which is the previous all-time high, which is the earnings anchored VWAP, and all those juicy confluence of numbers that we're getting, levels that we're getting at the moment. So for support, 349 to 350. Ideally, we should not see this level even coming into play. The stock potentially trades higher in the pre-market, at which point the earnings anchored VWAP gets magneted up to 350, 360. Off the open, the stock actually does something like this. Off the open, it just, pew! Hello? Can I get a drawing tool? Off the open, you just get an insane break past 400 and then expect the stock to just trade sideways for the rest of the day. This is what I'm imagining Salesforce does tomorrow, where you don't really get any real dip buy to go long, at which point you're kind of looking at new price levels. Maybe you get a 5-minute pattern, opening range breakout, you know, some opportunity over here to play with. But if you get this opportunity over here, it's a no-brainer long for me until or unless it gets below 350. If you're getting an opportunity over here, then that's a completely different trade. Now it depends on how fast the stock goes into 400. It depends on how we even get into 400. Do we even get into 400? You know, 400 is like 50 bucks away for a stock whose ATR is only $10, right? Maybe he doesn't even get into 400 tomorrow. 400 is a little over expectation. It's exaggeration if you ask me, but the concept still stands the same. If we straight one shot to the upside tomorrow off the open, and within you know, 5 minutes of the stock being open at 9:30, it makes a 1 ATR move straight to the north side, an $8 move, $10 move from let's say 370 to 380. I'm looking to fade that 380 originally, and then potentially I'll flip long, because I don't expect the stock to create another full ATR move right away after creating a 1 ATR move in less than 30 minutes. So it depends on how fast the stock goes up, how far it goes up off the open, and then what it does after that for me to make up a plan in these areas. For now, the easy plan is look for a dip buy. If it does give you a dip buy, no-brainer long over there. CRM priority tomorrow, obviously very, very high. Top high priority name tomorrow for us to look at. Next one on the basket of stocks to keep an eye on. I thought I already put in the anchored VWAP for OKTA. I guess not. OKTA, the next one to keep an eye on. I previously remember OKTA being a much higher price stock. Did they have a stock split? I guess I haven't really traded this stock for a long time, because I remember it being $200 and now it's $70, $100. Like, really? That's kind of insane. I don't remember them dropping this hard. But hey, that's not the point. The point is, you know, we're getting a nice 10% pop off the earnings report. So let's go check out the earnings report real quick using our friends over at Benzinga. OKTA. I'm gonna pop open a pop over here. We got Santa Claus on our Coca-Cola. We got Santa Claus on our Coca-Cola. Oh, webcam's off. Let me turn on webcam. You guys probably enjoyed the webcam being off, hey? You guys probably enjoy the webcam being off. Oh, TH, I almost forgot to tell you. Yes, my mom is fine. She just had a knee surgery. She had a knee surgery. All things went well. She was in a little bit of a pain and stuff, but that is the nature of a surgery, I guess. Right? That's the nature of the surgery. In a day or two, hopefully she'll be able to put some weight on that, but for now she's not able to. I mean, I remember when I dislocated my knee, I wasn't able to put weight on my knee, or not on my knee, on my leg for like a whole day. And then the very next day, it felt like magic. It felt like everything was fine. And then after a month later, I'm starting to see the residual pain, the residual stubbornness from a dislocated knee still lingering. I guess it's just way more than a month now. It's like 6 months, 7 months, 8 months now that it's been, and I still have residual pain in that knee. So I can only imagine what my mom's going through right now after that surgery. Pray for my mother, chat. Pray for my mother. All right, let's go back to OKTA. OKTA earnings report coming in. Third quarter revenue 665 million, beating estimates of 649. Lotto 649. That's a Canadian lotto, or at least Ontario lotto company name. I know you guys have what's your lotto called in America? Fuck, I forgot what the American lottery is called, where you get like billions of dollars. The cloud native cybersecurity company reported adjusted earnings of 67 per. Yeah, today is just what AI and cloud company reporting. You got Okta, you got CRM, all kinds of names, even Palantir AI moving up today, Meta AI moving up today, all AI companies, Apple. Jeez, AI was the name of the sector today, huh? Was the name of the sector, as the drone sector are now getting shot out of the sky. The money is going back into the AI sector. I love to see it. All right, let's continue reading. Revenue and subscription revenues were both up 14% year over year. Remaining performance obligations up 19%. Net cash provided 159 million, up from 154 million from same period last year. Generated free cash flow 154, up from 150 same period last year. Ended with 2.25 billion in cash and equivalents. Solid third quarter, underpinned by continued strong profitability and cash flow. Focused on investments we've made in our partner ecosystem, the public sector vertical, and the large customers, and materializing in our business. Contributing meaningfully to top line growth. The commitment to innovation and elevating identity security is resonating with customers of all as they look to Okta to modernize their identity infrastructure, whatever that means. What's next? Expects revenue in the range of 667 to 669. So if you compare to what they just reported, very slight beat, quarter over quarter, that is, versus estimates of 650. So if you compare to the estimates, that's a pretty good beat on OKTA. The company anticipates 73 cents to 74 cents. That's it. Versus estimates of 60 cents. Still a beat, but the company only makes like what, $4 a year? That's sad. Compared to OKTAs or CRM, who makes like what, $10 a year? Jeez. So OKTA, what is your PE? You don't have a PE, but your forward PE is fairly cheap. Forward PE 2863. You don't have a PE at the moment. You're just about to, I guess, start making money again. I guess, the struggle that you had over here was because of that negative earnings per share reports, and now you're starting to report positive EPS again. So looking good. Maybe you start making profitable maybe you start making money again overall. OKTA 10% pop, EPS good, PE good, everything's looking good. And I guess it makes sense why the stock popped up after hours, right? Everything's looking good, makes sense why the stock popped up after hours. As you saw us throw in a couple lines, maybe you did not because the Benzinga screen was up. So let me just zoom out one more time, show you that I just threw in a couple lines from June 2022 and from March 2024. So both of these levels coming in around 111.50 to 114.50. This high right here exactly right around $100, right around $99, which is what the after hour high is. So right into 99 to 100, I think is the level of interest for me at the moment. Depending on what the stock does in pre-market, that could change things obviously, but right now this is what I'm envisioning. I'm picturing the stock either goes into 100 and fails and gives you a short back to the downside, at which point it's still green on the day, right? It's still positive on the day if it goes back into 87 and bounces off of 87. What I'm not seeing is the stock being able to stay above 100 because of the earnings report. Hopefully I'm wrong, and if I am wrong, I think the easy setup is right here in this range. So I'm not expecting the stock to get above 115 tomorrow, but I'm also at that point, if we're holding above 100, not really looking for the short. So for me to look long, the stock almost needs to hold above 99, hold above 100. If you're not holding above 100, the 99 long needs to be almost like a layup. It needs to be a layup, a slam dunk. The stock needs to show me a solid base for over 30 minutes above 99. I want to also see what is the classic here. Let me just draw it out for you guys. I also want to see the classic wiggle shake, as I call it. I call it the wiggle, 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 right? So usually a stock runs up, pulls back, creates a base at VWAP, right? This is the day's VWAP. What the stock does is breaks the low and then starts running. It burns the stops right here because all the paper-handed longs, their stops are right at the low of the most recent low. Some of the less paper-handed stops are at VWAP or under VWAP, and then some of the bigger traders, their stops are probably down here. Right? They don't care what happens in this middle area. It's noise. I want to see the stock really hold below 80. So I want to see this wiggle happening and the stock reclaiming at that point, burning out the weak hands, and then the weak hands maybe enter back in after seeing that they got burnt out, and then the longs pile in even harder and taking the stock back up. I want to see that type of pattern at 99. But if it's above 100 and we're just cleanly trading above 100, I don't need to see that pattern. I'm just going to go long, risk 99, and then just pray to God, let Jesus take the wheel, see what happens to the stock, and see if it actually manages to give me a $5 move to the north side. I think if we hold 100, expecting 111.50, expecting 115 is not out of scope in my opinion. It's not out of scope if we actually open above 100 and stay above 100. Barky is in the chat. Barky wants us to take a look at ANF, and wow, what the hell happened to ANF from Monday? Nice pop on ANF Monday, but it's still stuck in the range at the moment. I think I had a pattern on ANF that I saw. Yeah, there you go. That's the pattern on the daily chart that I'm seeing on ANF. If ANF can break out above 164.50, right? 164.50. It's more 170, 168 kind of. But if it can get above this trend line and hold above this trend line on any sort of a pullback, I'll be interested to see how that sets up. But if you look at the bigger pattern, apparently we have a head and shoulders bigger pattern, which is obviously a bearish pattern. So that's expecting the target to go to $48 for the stock on the daily pattern. On the triangular pattern breakout, we're expecting the stock to go to $208 or back down to $88. So based on Abercrombie and Fitch, based on their earnings report, based on how cheap the company is, even after the type of moves that they have just provided people with or investors with, it's still only 15 PE, right? So based on all of that, I don't think the head and shoulders pattern plays out. I also don't think this head and shoulders pattern is really that good. I think the left shoulder is not as high as the right shoulder, so I wouldn't necessarily call this a head and shoulders pattern. I would just ignore the head and shoulders pattern and focus more on this pennant, that triangle, the pizza slice pattern, the roti slice pattern, as Soze called it. I think he was just being racist. But ANF, the pizza slice pattern, getting a nice breakout opportunity with the target all the way to the high side over here. Looks like inside the head and shoulders, you have a bullish flag, which was targeting $210, but the stock kind of got hammered down from this area. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of ANF as a day trade because it doesn't really do too much volume, but if you get a breakout above this area and you get some volume behind it, I think watching for that move is not a bad idea at all. Watching for that move is not a bad idea at all. I would like for the stock to pull back and hold above some of these areas. I'll just throw in an alert right now, at around what, 163. I'll move it to 162.50. So I'll throw an alert there, see what happens if it ever does get there. You also wanted me to take a look at AMBA, so let me take a look at AMBA. I remember taking a look at AMBA on their earnings day. So I remember watching AMBA on their earnings day. They had a nice pop. They gave you a good trade to go long also. But if I remember correctly, I completely zoned out on that long. The long was to go long above 64, and that was the long right there. And I kind of fumbled the bag. I did not look at the stock. I ignored it. Now you can see how we got a breakout, we got a big pop, the pop got stuffed back down. This is a semiconductor company. I'll be honest, I don't remember exactly what the stock reported, but I think they reported pretty well, right? They reported pretty well. It was a pretty good surprise. Yeah, 217% surprise on EPS, 4% surprise on revenue. Got stuffed back down. Okay, moving back down. We're currently still below the earnings anchored VWAP. We're clearly below the 5-day moving average. Look at how sharp the 5-day moving average all of a sudden took a nosedive over here. Not sure what that nosedive is about. You got a pretty good smooth curve on the 5-day moving average and then a random nosedive. Maybe because today is a new day for the maybe that's why because the 5-day average, because last week it was a weird week, right? We got a half day on Friday, we got a day off on Thursday, so probably that's why it's calculating this as day one. Anyways, just looking at the basic chart, I think there's way too much noise potential in these ranges. Way too much noise potential. The only way I would kind of look long is if it's above 74 or if it's into $68. If it's not above 74 and holding above 74, I kind of don't care anymore. But the very low volume. This is almost better in a swing trade scale than a day trade scale. So I would need a lot more volume on this position for me to care about as a day trade, and I would like for it to hold above 74. The hold at 68 is not that interesting for me, but as a swing trade, I understand. As a swing trade, you hold, you get long into 68, your stop is 65, and you wait and see if you get a move back into 80 or a move back into the glorious prices of $100. The stock was at $1,200, so I mean, anything is possible, right? Anything is possible. When you get moves like Carvana on the board, anything is possible. So AMBA, I think I like that more as a swing trade than a day trade. One Canadian stock, Prad, it's not a day or swing trade, it's more of an investment ticker. Super expensive and very, very thinly traded daily volume. Which one? You just said one Canadian stock, you didn't put the stock name. Is the stock name Prad? Are you investing in Prad? Trust me, it's not a very high, it's not an expensive stock, and it's very, very thinly traded for sure on the daily volume. If the ticker name is Prad. Yo, Guri, what's up, brother? Good to see you in the stream, man. Welcome. All right, MRVL. Let's get back on the train over here. MRVL also reported earnings today after hours, so let's pull up this bad boy on the screen. What did you do? Third quarter results Tuesday after the bell, reported 43 cents per share, beating estimates of 41 cents per share. Revenue 1.52 billion, beating estimates of 1.46, increase from same period last year of 1.42. All things looking good. Third quarter 2025 revenue grew 19%, well above the midpoint of our guidance, driven by the strong demand for AI. Fourth quarter, we are forecasting another 19% midpoint from guidance, while year over year we expect revenue growth to accelerate significantly to 26%, marking the beginning of a new era. You mean you're just catching up to the fucking era that was already there? What do you mean marking the beginning of a new era? Dude, you're just catching up to the AI era. Congratulations. You saw, if you guys remember what happened to MRVL last time. Whoa, was it MRVL? I know. I think it's right here. What happened to MRVL off of its earnings report? They got slammed down because of the lack of AI conversations, and their report wasn't good enough, and they clearly learned from that, and they fixed a lot of things. Looking good. AI silicon programs, which are now high volume, blah 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 blah. Marvell sees earnings of 59 cents per share compared to 49 cents per share that they just reported, plus or minus 5 cents versus 52 cents estimate. Company expects fourth quarter revenue 1.8 plus or minus 5 versus 1.65%. So this makes a lot of sense as to why the stock popped up 2 days before earnings report. B, why the stock looked fairly bullish a day before its earnings report, or on the day of its earnings report. And 3, why the stock made a new all-time high, right? So you have 3 good reasons why the stock popped up at this point. I don't think you're expecting the stock to go back to the downside tomorrow. The earnings anchored VWAP is what, 104? If you get a dip into 104 tomorrow, I'll call you lucky, and you need to go buy a lottery ticket. So if you get a dip into 104 tomorrow, good luck. I think going long into 104 will be a no-brainer if we do get that dip tomorrow. But you're not getting that. I think this is a possibility, but I don't think it's a possibility that has a lot of probability, right? The probability behind this happening for you and then getting a breakout is very low. I think this is a very similar case of CRM, where the stock starts to go up in the pre-market and just goes up all day tomorrow, potentially rips up right off the open, and then just trades sideways all day above its VWAP. So be careful how you want to trade this. If the stock opens up and runs up, its ATR is $3. I'm gonna say if it runs up $5, $6, $7 off the open in the first 5-10 minutes, I'm looking short. Same idea as CRM. I'm looking short for a quick scalp. I might flip long afterwards if it looks like it's flagging or it's about to break out or whatever. There's other variables, other setups. I will be using basic chart patterns to look for trades, see if a bullish triangle, rising wedge, cup and handle, see if any of the basic chart patterns start forming on this name. If I can get a nice opening range breakout, if I can get a nice opening range breakout on MRVL, I'm interested on that. So we'll be watching, very high priority. All 3 names I reported today that we just spent 37 minutes talking about, only spent 37 minutes about 3 stocks. That's sad because this is the watch list. This is the watch list. Look how many more names we have to go through. So MRVL, very, very important tomorrow, without a doubt. Purple priority MRVL. Constellation Software is the name. What's the ticker, bro? I can't spell Constellation. I'm stupid. CSU. Oh my god, $4,000? 4,000 Canadian schmeckles? Yeah, this is an old company. 2007. Damn, okay, maybe not that old, but still a pretty old company. How come I never heard of them? So this company acquires other companies in the public and private sector and manages them and governs them and manages them. Okay. What exactly do you own? That'll be interesting. Maybe I could apply for a job here. Jeez, man, this is like what, the fucking Berkshire of Canada? What is this? Is this Berkshire of Canada? What the hell is this? I've never seen this. Like, okay, so I can't give opinions on this at all. I don't know what they do. I don't know how they perform. I don't know what the fundamentals are. Not that I know how to read fundamentals. I just don't know what I don't know. And once a great man said, if you don't know what you don't know, there's a lot more behind the story to it. So maybe just don't gamble at that point. I think looking at the basic chart at the moment, you got the previous all-time high that broke out, pulled back, held, and now you're getting the secondary leg, if you want to say so. You got another breakout, right? You got a nice bull flag, another breakout that didn't really pull back and hold. I guess you can say this was the pull back and hold, and we're getting run up to the north side. I just don't know. If you're trading this off technicals, I think off of technicals, this looks great, right? Off of technicals, this looks awesome. If you want fundamentals and all that other stuff, I can't help you on that, because I know who can help you on that. My buddy Victor, who's currently asking me about BTC going higher or lower this month. I mean, it's a bullish chart. It's a very bullish chart, especially after how we pulled back and bounced off the 21-day moving average. I mean, that's a pretty bullish chart. So this month, does Bitcoin go up or down? I think with Santa Claus rally, which is always talked about going into December, hopefully Santa Claus rally gives it a little bit of a pump over here. That's interesting. My machine learning RSI code over here is saying that it might be time to start shorting, or at least it might be time to stay away from going long Bitcoin, but I wouldn't lean on this. If I had a gun to my head and I had to pick higher or lower, I'd pick higher. I'd pick Bitcoin going higher, Victor. Look at the 5 and 10-year return for CSU. I like to do that on here. $244%, 43%. I mean, is that really that exciting? Is that really that exciting? You are spending $4,000 for one stock, one share, right? One share, you're spending $4,650 just so you can get 244% in 5 years. Is that really that exciting? I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to do something like that. Like, you know, you could have literally bought Meta, Google, Amazon, Apple at the 200-day moving average. All of them recently, right? All of them recently. Oh, well, I think that's the 200-day moving average. Okay, maybe not Apple, but Google, Microsoft, Meta, right? And how much more are these giving you for you know, less of a price of a per share? I think, yeah, you gotta weigh out the pros and cons. If you really like that company, I guess go for it. I think for me, if it's not moving fast enough, I don't want it in my long-term account. You know, and it's too expensive. It's way too expensive for me. Okay. Pure Storage, PSTG, reported also after hours. Nice little pop over here to the upside today. Since I'm running a little bit late on time, I don't want to spend the next 2 hours talking about 3 tickers. I'm going to start speed running some of these names over here and see what type of trades we can find. Pure Storage, let me actually delete all of my drawings from past because I think I have way too many drawings. Also, I'm going to go to this chart instead. PSTG. I'm quickly going to go into throwing some lines. I want a line over there. I want the line over here. I want the line over there. Go to the 5-minute chart, throw in the earnings anchored VWAP, and you can see how one of the lines we just threw in at $63, where does that come from? Right here, that little nice little consolidation where the stock broke down from. We're actually holding above it now. So very simple trade. This makes everything easier. This makes my life easier. This makes your life easier. Notice how we tried to stay higher than 63, then we got back to the downside, then we tried to get below 63, failed to get below 63, got back above, and then started consolidating below the earnings anchored VWAP and kind of stayed above 63. This is beautiful. So 65 to 63 is almost one level. Then you got 65 to 70 as another level, and then above 70 you already have a line up there at 70.50, which you can kind of keep an eye on. So I wouldn't really lean on 69 as a pure line in the sand, because you have the better line in the sand at $70 to keep an eye out for. But pure storage, awesome levels to play off of. I think 63 should not break if the report was good enough. Obviously I don't have time to read the report. I'll do that on my own time later. But 63, if it holds tomorrow and gives you a long above 63, no brainer long. If the stock starts to hold above 65 in the pre-market and then look like it wants to go higher, then you got again a no brainer long. But for me, the stop is 63, because you're not wrong until the stock gets below 63 and starts to hold below 63. At that point you can say, okay, the longs are no more correct, the shorts are probably correct, and the stock is potentially going back much lower. So for me, above 65 is a long, above 63 is a long, into $70 potentially a short. So I'm watching 70 to 70.50 to see how the stock plays out over there. My inflection level, so that means basically this area. It's not a support, it's not a resistance. It might turn into support in pre-market, but it's not a support, it's not a resistance. I want to see how action plays out at $65 on PSTG. I think Victor is asking about Zim. Is it setting up to go higher or lower? I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but if I did, I obviously probably A, would not be a streamer, B, would be a millionaire, trillionaire, the first day trading trillionaire. But what we can do is, I guess, speculate and guess based on what the stock seems to be doing at the moment. We're right back into these ranges. I mean, this range has given people so many opportunities on Zim that it is almost ridiculous to ignore. Based on this action though, you can call this action right here as a failure to break out, which is exactly what happened previously. So failure to break out, and a move right back in. The question is not what the stock does rest of this month. I think the question is, what does the stock do going back into 60? I can't stop burping. Thank you, Coca-Cola. What does the stock do going back into $16? If it holds above 16, I think you can just continue to keep taking advantage of this range trading as a seller and a buyer. Keep battling. The noise in the middle does not matter. What matters is what happens at the edges. That's it. That's all that matters to me. So if you want to join the fight the good fight, I think you want to wait for $16 on Zim. Another stock that reported earnings today, BOX. How did you move? BOX, a little bit of a move to the downside. Not a lot of volume in the after hours. Very tiny move also, if you ask me. I think the percentage wise is very tiny. If you look at previous levels on the stock also, you are about to go fight a lot of buying, right? Yeah, it went lower, but look at the amount of buying you're about to go fight. So really, there is no short until the stock gets below 31.50. So I don't care what happens over here. I'm not going to trade it in this range. It just doesn't, I don't care. I don't care what happens in this range. Maybe I'll watch for 34 and then I'll watch for 31.50. Besides that, no interest on box. Priority very low. So gonna color it in the blue color. Priority very low priority. Unless it gets below 3150, then priority really climbs up on BOX. Next one, Chewy. Ooh, this one actually reports tomorrow pre-market. Let me bring in the earnings calendar for you guys. Okta, Salesforce, Marvell, Pure Storage, Box. Those are the names from the pre-market, sorry, after hours. Tomorrow pre-market, we got Chewy, Foot Locker, Dollar Tree. You can look at RY. It's a Canadian bank, but I'm not really going to care about RY too much. And since we have Meta already open over there, and I know Victor is talking about Meta. He is in love with Meta. I wonder why. Maybe when a person, who has Meta as his biggest position of his portfolio, maybe they're allowed to be a little happy when Meta takes that all-time high, aren't they? This is for you. Cheers to you, Victor. Cheers to you, Victor, because this move, I mean, mamma mia, molto bueno. Is that how you even say it? I don't know, but I'm gonna say it. So clearly, beautiful move above the all-time high. If you actually look at the stock on the daily chart, instead of looking at the stock on the daily chart, let me do you guys a favor and pull up a chart that I drew for my trading pod. Here we go. So here are a couple trading opportunities on Meta platforms. You could have gone long on the break of 600 right over here, taken profits into the stall or exhaustion or into the area. Another spot to get long was exactly on the hold of the previous all-time high. Notice how I have a line across the previous all-time high on Meta. The stock breaks 600, pushes above previous all-time high, pulls back into the previous all-time high, and holds it perfectly. Holds it perfectly. And look at that little wiggle. Remember how I just talked about the wiggle? They burn the stops by taking out the lows, right? People who are paper-handed, they have stop exactly to that low. They get burnt out, their stops get triggered, and then the stock starts to rally to the high side. So those were two opportunities to look long. I had some orders to get long into this area, but I never got the fill, and I wasn't going to be aggressive to take the fill, so I wasn't just smashing the offer to take the fill. So did not get the trade, just watched Meta climb up all day. For me, Meta is very important tomorrow. Look at where the VWAP is for today. Today's VWAP 604.50. It's not that far from the previous all-time high, 603. On top of that, you have this area right there, 608. So couple levels of interest that I'm for sure watching Meta tomorrow to see if it holds above dip. First area, 608. Below 608, it's going to be 604.50 because that's where the today's VWAP is, considering today is a day one move, day one breakout past all-time high. So considering today is a day one move, I'm looking at 604.50, and then below 604.50, I'm watching 603. So realistically, you can say 604.50 to 603, and then below 603, nice and easy psychological number, 600. So for me, there's no really shorting Meta until we start holding below 600. And also, maybe I shouldn't say no really shorting Meta. I will look short Meta if Meta is into like 620, 630 tomorrow when we're opening and the market's weak. Okay, if the market's weak and Meta's opening into 620, 630. Yeah, I might look short. But if the market's strong and Meta's kind of opening up in this area, or Meta's opening up in the 620, 630 and the market's strong, I might not look short that heavily. I might look for scalp shorts. It's the same idea as CRM and OKTA again, and Marvell. I'm watching to see how fast the stock goes in a specific time and so on. So it's like, I'm not sure how I want to do with it. Agreed, Prad. Just on my watch list. Appreciate you spending time on CSU. Yeah, I don't mind spending time on stocks like that. I just don't know what to do with it. And I don't want to give you a wrong idea. I don't want to give you a wrong idea, right? So my 2 cents, too expensive. I think there's better trades out there that you can put your money in that can double, triple your money faster than putting your money in that. But that seems like a safe bet, right? That seems like a safe bet. They only go up. Why put money in Berkshire? safe bet. You can park your money in Berkshire and you know 90% of the time you're not going to lose it. Right? You're not going to lose your money. All right. So Chewy reporting tomorrow, pre-market, very much on watch. The Ryan Cohen name, not sure if it still has a high short float component. Let me quickly go check that out. Wow, too many things open. Okay, here we go. Chewy, what is your short float component? 10%, not that high, but not, not insignificant either. 10% of the float is short. So if we do get a short squeeze on Chewy, that could be fun. That spike is interesting. Looks like $39 was... I need to do what Kulamagi does, which is put notes on moves. That way you know exactly why a stock did something at a certain level. I'm also interested to see if I throw in the anchored VWAP from that day's high, where would that come into? Anyways, it doesn't matter anymore. Pretty sure that would be under where the stock is currently trading at. So Chewy, Foot Locker reporting tomorrow, pre-market, a very solid base formed on Foot Locker above $20, potentially a long trade coming up. Dollar Tree, this is a big name to keep on watch. Dollar Tree, Dollar General, both of these names have been getting smoked, absolutely destroyed for the recent times. And surprise, look at that. We are actually quadruple bottoming. Jesus Christ, this level is insane. What is this level? Okay, that's not the level. This level. This level is insane. Wow, this is the god level. This is the level of all levels. And if this level breaks tomorrow, Dollar Tree going bankrupt? Question mark? Like what? This is the god of all levels. Look at that level. Oh my goodness. That's November 2023. November 2013 high. That's inception. 2 years after I was born, 1996. That was the previous all-time high in 2013. We broke out in 2014. Came back 2015. Came back 2020 recession, the COVID recession. And just now, it's coming back. This seems like a no-brainer long to me. Right? I mean, Dollar Tree is not going bankrupt anytime soon. I could be wrong, okay? I could be wrong. Maybe I shouldn't say words like that. But this is actually insane. This level is monstrous. I think you're watching if 60 comes into play tomorrow. I don't think 60 comes into play tomorrow, I'll be honest with you. Look at the previous 2 months high. Previous 2 month high is 71.60. You don't want to see the stock below 71.60. In my opinion, you don't want to see the stock below 71.60. You got the gap high, you got this high. So you got a couple levels over here to keep an eye on. I'll actually delete the monthly high. I'll keep the gap high and I'll keep the most recent high. Let's see how the report comes up. If the report takes the stock higher here and then rejects, I think that's going to be sad. But this is a name that potentially is a name to keep on watch for a big swing trade opportunity. Along above 75, 76 on Dollar Tree could be the reversal story that people have been waiting for on these companies, on these discount name stores. Dollar General reporting in 2 days, almost at a very similar level like that. I mean, that's 2016 high, and we're below 2016 high. We're almost into 2015 lows, 2016 lows. Yeah, this is 2016 lows. So Dollar General a little worse than Dollar Tree. Going back into 2016 lows over here, looking worse. Wow, I'm shocked that Dollar Tree is all the way into these prices and no one said shit. I'm very disappointed at you guys for not saying anything. I mean, look at that double bottom. Look at that double bottom at $60. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So Dollar Tree, high priority tomorrow. I think if we do get a negative report and the stock drops back to 60, I don't think it's breaking 60 tomorrow. There's a chance it breaks 60 next few days, next few weeks, next few months. I don't think it breaks it tomorrow. So I think there's a long off of 60. There's potentially lots of investors buying up shares in front of 60 on Dollar Tree too. I'm keeping the stock on watch like a hawk tomorrow. 73.50 and above 73.50, 77. Okay, PSQH. This stock had a monster pop today later on in the day. Potentially trap some good amount of shorts and then pop to the north side. So if more shorts are trapped on PSQH, this one had a news catalyst that Donald Trump Jr. I mean, who cares that Donald Trump Jr. is joining the company? Since when does that matter? Sorry, I should say joining the board. Since when does that matter? So, I mean, if you ask me, it's a bullshit story, bullshit news. A stock should not have traction like the way it did. But small cap, the game is very simple. The game is trap the shorts and then pull the rugs on the longs. So they first create the long. They juice the long up to trap the shorts. They trap the shorts. The shorts got busted out, and now they're trapping the longs, and then they'll rug pull. So watching PSQH, another one in the same basket, SJK. SJK got rug pulled pretty hard today already. I don't think, well, it tried to trap some shorts, but I don't think this one successfully trapped shorts as well as PSQH. So PSQH potentially opens up much higher in the pre-market and in intraday, and then sets up for a better short. So the higher PSQH opens up, the better the short is on that stock. For SJK, I don't think this one really goes too much higher to the north side, but if it does, same idea on this one. PRCH, another name in the small cap sector that kind of popped up today. Lots of small cap names today that got activated a little bit. So I have all three of these ones on my watch list. Intel first had a very good news, and then that completely got negated. Looks like, oh, sorry, was the news yesterday? I thought the news was today. No, actually, yes, the news was yesterday pre-market that the CEO will be stepping down. And investors saw that as a good news. Investors saw that as a good thing. But later on in the day, something happened where volume came in and the stock just completely 180 reversed back to the downside. Today off the open, just continued that trend a little bit more. So not sure what happened with Intel over here. Right back into the $22 range. In my opinion, the CEO dropping should be a good news, right? He's been the reason why the company struggled, so him leaving should be a good thing. But looks like the market just does not care for Intel at the moment. On the watch list, low priority. Palantir, very dirty stock today. It was trapping longs, it was trapping shorts. This whole area was just an absolute shit show. Trapping shorts, busting shorts, trapping longs, busting longs. It sucked to get trapped up in that area. Much later on in the day though, let me show you a pattern that actually set up that gave you a nice long. Ooh, that's a bigger pattern that's setting up. Ignore that for now, but this is the pattern that I'm talking about. If you see this little bullish pennant triangle that we have, that one actually gave you a nice breakout, a hold, and a continuation move on Palantir. So shout out to Palantir today. The bulls, the longs clearly in power at the moment. A new all-time high. Your guess is as good as mine. I'm not sure where the stock goes into, but one thing is very clear. It's that $70 area. With how much the stock traded into $70, I'm expecting 70 to hold on any sort of a pullback tomorrow. The question obviously is, where does the stock open? I think this one easily could open up much higher and then set up for a flush short tomorrow. But if it opens up into the same areas that we are now, drops into 70 and holds 70, or drops into 68 and then holds 68, I'm interested to continue to look long on Palantir. However, today I got burnt on the short side. I got burnt a little bit on the short side. AT&T. I think AT&T, I forget what the news catalyst was exactly, but it was a positive news catalyst. I think they said they were talking about, upgrade. They upgraded guidance for the next year. Or was it not next year, for 2035? So much further. Let me actually open up my notes here. What did they do? 2024. Okay, it's not 2035. For 2024, they upgraded the guidance, EPS, blah 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 blah. They also said that they are going to increase their 5G, their fiber optics, and so on. So all that giving the stock a little bit of a spike above its 52-week high, and you can see how the 52-week high basically turning into a support at the moment. Any hold above the previous 52-week high, which is what, $23.50, $23. I think looking long doesn't hurt, but my priority on this name is very low. AppLovin, having a nice breakout to the north side on AppLovin. So you can look at today as day one again, right? Breakout, consolidation, breakout, consolidation, breakout, potentially consolidation again. You can see after every little breakout, the stock does have a little bit of an up candle, but that up candle gets stuffed right back down. For example, breakout, next day, nice move, and then not much. Breakout, next day goes higher, but then gets stuffed back down. Breakout, not really a breakout, but anyways, breakout, get stuffed back down. So tomorrow, it could get stuffed back down, but ideally, I'm looking for a long off of today's VWAP, which is what, 362.50 on AppLovin. 362.50 on AppLovin. Watching to see how this one reacts tomorrow off the open, off the pre-market. See if any levels set up. I got a level here that I'm interested in, also below 362, which is 361.50. So I'm just gonna say 362.50 to 360. I'll be patiently waiting how APP sets up into these area. If the stock gets below 360 and holds below 360, then I'm looking short. Snowflake, big move on Snowflake today, but still not breaking out above 179, 180. So with how back and forth Snowflake is within this range, I think that breakout is imminent. You're just waiting patiently for Snowflake to get above 179, 180, and then get long. So I'm actually going to throw an alert right here at $178, just so when the stock pushes up there, I'll be ready to go long on this one. Snowflake looks like it is very close to breaking out. Shopify, throw an alert and wait. Not really much to do besides that. Square, once again, throw an alert and wait. Not really much to do beside that. It did break out today. Sorry, it broke out yesterday, but then false breakout and moved right back to the south side. Square does look like it wants to go, but keep in mind this one is tied a little bit to Bitcoin's move. So a hold above 95, a hold above 96 potentially can give us a trade, but very careful with the longs, because it does whip back and forth very easily in this area. If I remember correctly, Square also has a PE of 50. It's not a cheap company. It's not an expensive company either. Not really expensive, but it's also not really cheap. So Square might be in that area where fair value might be start to get questioned a little bit, especially with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes back down, I don't see Square doing that well. In the Bitcoin realm, since we're talking about it, let's talk about MSTR. The volume dying down, the volatility dying down, but I think the trade is still on watch. I wonder if there's a pattern here. Nope, no pattern. There's no pattern here for us to play off of. But watching without a doubt. Coinbase, I have an alert. I'm just waiting for the alert to come into play. You can even set an alert at the high end of the spectrum, because obviously Bitcoin looks like a bullish bullish trade at the moment. So Coinbase breakout higher than that area, which is what, 317.50, or a break below 288.50. Watching that setup on these names. Let's head over to UMAC. UMAC set up for a good day 2 short today. I actually had that day 2 short, but it was a little back and forth, little choppy, not a lot of follow through in that move. Probably because the sympathy names such as JOBY, ACHR didn't really do too much today. They just kind of traded sideways. These stocks are also at what could be considered as support areas, potential dip buy areas. So it makes sense why UMAC didn't really have a lot of follow through behind it. I don't expect these stocks to have a big flush tomorrow. If they do, I'll be there to play with, but I just don't expect much from these names at the moment, as the volatility and the volume on those names are dying down. IonQ doing ion down. QUBT started off the day lower, but then moving back higher. That looks, if you ask me, pretty bullish. That looks decently bullish enough on QUBT. If 6 holds tomorrow off the open, I might be interested in the long on QUBT. So let's watch how this one sets up. SMR, good move on SMR. Looks like it is now finally putting in the backside, a triple top, double top. The backside might be coming in. So watching how SMR reacts below $24 right there. That's actually $24.50. So watching how SMR reacts below $24.50, potentially for a day 2 trade short. You could call it a day 3 short. You can call this a day 3 short because this was day 1, a big move yesterday, a little bit of a move today. And if we break down below $24.50, I think the stock could have a bigger short. Sadly, we did not get a move into yesterday's VWAP for me to look short there. But I think tomorrow, this is an opportunity to keep an eye out for. If the stock pushes into 26 and is not able to reclaim 26, I think the short is very much in play. So pop into 26 and failing to hold above 26, I'm short. A move into 24.50, consolidate above 24.50, and then a breakdown, I'm adding. I'm watching how SMR plays out. CRDO. What is this one? I don't know what CRDO is. I pulled it up because I saw it in a scanner. Big move to the north side, all-time high, a recent IPO from 2022. Not sure what they do. Information technology, potentially a good news today on the stock, which took it to the high side. Really? This can't be the news. Get fuck out of here. CFO sold shares on December 1st. Okay, so he sold shares on December 1st, but even after selling shares on December 1st, he still has this much of shares. You guys really popping up on that news? I guess that's good. OPEX is expected to grow at less than 50% of sales growth. I'm not seeing any credible, real storyline as to why the stock made a pop. I see a price target to $75 per share. Earnings and multiple price targets. I guess I could have just seen that and kind of known, right? Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Okay, I guess I could have seen that and known that it was an earnings move at that point. Alright, so interesting. Earnings move, big gap up. multiple price targets, gap up into a brand new price where the stock has never traded before. All things looking good over here. All things looking good. At this point, today's day one. You're watching today's VWAP. You're watching the earnings anchored VWAP. I think this one's importance just kind of went a lot higher. God damn. How come I didn't look at the stock yesterday in the after hours? And look at that beautiful hold of the earnings anchored VWAP in the pre-market and a nice rally higher, all day rally. I think tomorrow the stock could have a beautiful day too, as long as we hold above, I'm gonna say 66, although the earnings anchored VWAP is at 68. So anywhere from 66 to 68, I think is the zone where you can look for a long on dips. And if we do get a nice dip into that area, I am very much interested to smash this long back into today's high and maybe a bigger move above today's high. So yeah, I'm setting an alert on this one for sure. Right into, you know what? Let me just do this. Add an alert on the anchor VWAP. Once only. Done. Boom, 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 pop. All right. Unity. Unity has no reason to really be on the watch list other than the fact that I randomly just typed in U on the chart today while I was looking for stocks on the watch list. And I found Unity with a nice little daily breakout pattern setting up. So Unity 2485/25. If the stock gets above this price point and stays above this price point, if the market's looking hella bullish, I think this one is getting ready for a little bit of a breakout. This one was also a name that I told my dad to get long on his account. He got long, he took a loss, and then the stock is at $25. Ah, sucks. You know, it just, what can you say? That's the name of the game, right? Name of the market. Wow, nice little shake on the daily chart over here too. You can see how they broke the stops, went a little bit lower, and then popped it right back up. I love to see it, especially after this pop and a wiggle into this area of 24.50. I think that makes that breakout a lot better. So Unity watching for a potential breakout and a run past 25 tomorrow or whenever that breakout sets up. Another one that is on watch for a similar type of trade is Datadog. But for Datadog, I would like for it to hold below 157.50 a little bit longer, maybe 1 day or 2 day more hold below 157.50. But at the same time, I don't want to see you ranging from 157 to 150. I want to see you range from 157 to like 155. 157 to like 154 and be in the higher end of this box. If you're in the higher end of this box, then I can get ready for that breakout, because that shows me that buyers are actually stepping up and they are being aggressive when they're stepping up. Sellers are not really stepping down, but they are also not really moving higher, so they're just being a little bit adamant. But when the buyers are moving up and the sellers are not really moving, eventually the more they keep testing the seller breaks and we run higher. So Datadog, potentially a run up past 157.50. I have an alert set up on that area. Because Marvell reported earnings today, MRVL, semiconductor name, I think that will automatically put other semiconductor names on watch. For example, Nvidia high yesterday, Nvidia high today, exactly the same, 140.50. So basically 140.50/141 on Nvidia. Watching to see if we can start holding above here with the help of MRVL earnings report, which can potentially take Nvidia right back to the high side and compete with Apple to be the largest publicly traded company. Or, you know, Apple's still going to be the king at the moment, because Apple, wow, well, we were new all-time high, and then today a beautiful run up again. So Apple looking like it wants to stay king. Apple wants to stay king a little bit longer. Tesla getting ready potentially for a nice little breakout. The only level I care about is that 262. You could say, sorry, 362. You could say 360. For me, it's really 360 to 362 for that I'm watching on Tesla. To the upside, to the downside, 350. Pretty simple. But the stock does have an ATR of $15, $16. So be ready to watch that 350 level break and go lower if you are trading around that area. Apple, we kind of talked about that real quick. It's almost a simple basic trade if you ask me. If the stock pulls back into today's VWAP, yesterday's VWAP, or the previous all-time high of 237.50, you're looking to see how buying sets up in those areas. Amazon, I didn't really watch Amazon today. It's going back into all-time high, right? It's going back into all-time high. We got a potential consolidation box area setting up. You know, I don't really care what happens in this area. For me, I care more what happens at 208 or 216. So until then, I'm just not interested to see what happens on the stock. I'll put an alert into 216. I'll put an alert into 208. And if we do go there, am I all out of alerts? Oh, there you go. I was gonna say, like, there's no way. I should have 400 alerts. How am I already all out of alerts? So if we go into 208, if we go into 216, then I could give a little shit about it. But until then, I just don't give a shit. Okay. The rest is basically the market. QQQ about to take out the all-time high again, slash kinda did today. S&P 500, I guess you could say every day is basically charging higher into a new all-time high at the moment. When you got moves like Meta, Apple, Nvidia, which is getting ready to go higher, Microsoft, which had a flush at one point in the day but still ended up green. When you're having moves like these on the large cap, you know, it's hard to be bearish. And not just the large cap, when you have small cap at all-time highs, IWM literally stone's throw away from all-time high. All-time high on IWM is 244.50, and we are at 240 right now. We did go up to 244.50 yesterday, right? So IWM, which is a small cap ETF, this is a Russell 2000, with IWM at all-time high, with the large cap stocks breaking their all-time highs, it's hard to be a little bearish on the market. So watching to see how these levels set up. I think IWM a breakout above 245 is very, very interesting. And honestly, I'm way more interested for this than QQQ or S&P 500 for a trade. Just because of how long IWM has struggled to get into this area. So either you get above 245 or you struggled around 245. Pretty simple. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, my watch list for tomorrow. Nice and short watch list compared to the last few days. I guess it's not really that short, but if you compare my watch list for the last few days, you can see how many names were in the purple color. Purple being the highest importance of priority for me, orange the second highest importance of priority, and then blue the least, the third least, and then the gray is the kind of the least. So you can see how many of those stocks we had yesterday, and if you compare that to today, not that many stocks on the board for priority. Not that many stocks on board as priority for me compared to yesterday. So I'm kind of happy with that. All right, that is basically the watch list. Let's quickly head over to economic calendar. We got non-pharma employment at 8:15, S&P 500 PMI, so S&P Global Services PMI, factory orders at 10 o'clock, non-manufacturing PMI, ISM at 10 o'clock, crude oil inventories at 10:30, Fed Powell at 1:45. What are you talking about? This usually works, but oh, there you go. Short-term interest rates, he has more influence. Yeah, obviously we know that. So talking about interest rates, talking about the inflation battle and all that. Last time Powell came on the microphone at this time period, he actually moved the market quite a bit because he said we're not he was very hawkish. He was not dovish with his comments. He was very hawkish. So we'll be interested to see how his comments tomorrow at 1:45 will be. Keep an ear open, obviously, to the news channels. I use Benzinga and Financial Juice to get those comments quickly. Either Benzinga Squawk or Financial Juice. Their website has a pretty good news feed. So I'll be watching that. And if he's hawkish or dovish, that could move the market at 145 at 2 o'clock. Besides that, you do have a couple other events that are important to the market. So that's 10 o'clock, 9:45, and 8:15. So Wednesday, hump day, time to have some fun on the market. Time to have some fun on the market. Let's go check out really quickly the IPO calendar. Looks like absolutely dead zilch. Nothing on the IPO calendar for me. So that basically wraps up the show for today. Finally, I can call it a day. I could, well, not really a day. I have to still go do a lot of work. I have to finish my journaling. I have to finish typing out the notes for Meta. And then I have to copy all of this guy's Substack into my own Notion. So I got a lot of homework. Probably not getting much sleep tonight either. So I'll be going and doing that. I'll wish you guys a great day tomorrow. Time to wish you guys a good night. Good luck tomorrow on the market. I'll be back 8 o'clock. Hopefully, I'll be back 8 o'clock unless, you know, I get hit by a bus or something. Knock on wood, I don't. And I'll cover all the fun movers, shakers. Like, what do we have tomorrow? Five Below. I traded Five Below today. That's interesting. Five Below, American Eagle, AOE, really. American Eagle, Sentinel One, PVH, Charge Point. So we got some names reporting tomorrow. Synopsis. We got some good names reporting tomorrow. So yeah, tune in. I wish you guys the best. TraderPrad out. Adios. Get ready for trade off of. Get ready for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here. Back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day. So let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.